Okay, good evening YouTube and welcome to episode 11 of the FPL Family. My name is Lee, this is Sam, and we are coming off the back of game week 7 in FPL. Another interesting game week, lots and lots happening to the big hitters. We had a pool of big hitters. We were thinking about, do we go Aguero, Morata, Lukaku, Kane, all those guys. All of a sudden, poor old Sergio gets in his car accident and Morata does a hammy. So all of a sudden, it's starting to reduce that pool of heavy hitters. So let's start with game week totals. How did you get on?
Distinctly average.
Yeah, me too. Pretty average. I saw the average was about 51. I got exactly 51. Not a great game week. I had Lukaku captain, which was okay in my hokey cokey that I've been doing. I had Kane, but didn't captain him. I didn't have a Spurs fullback. I had probably Ben Mee was probably my next best scorer with 7 points, which means it was bang average, and you were about the same, were you?
52, beat you by one.
God, beat by one. You swine.
But yeah, I mean, Captain Kane saved my life.
Okay. So 52, but you had Kane captain, so the rest must have been
terrible.
A bit average. Yeah, okay.
I mean, the only people that actually did anything for me this week, other than Captain Kane, were Otamendi and Jones, who wasn't going to play, but I just left him on for the sake of it, and he did. So
I think we called them Mourinho mind games, didn't we? We were a bit like, you know, do we get Jones out? I mean, I was looking at Cresswell in and maybe doing a transfer there. In the end, I was kind of glad that I kept Jones. I thought, well, if he plays, it's definitely going to be a clean sheet, which it was. So I was kind of happy to hold. What we're going to do with him going forward, we will discuss that later on.
I nearly got rid of him on Friday night, very late Friday night.
For who?
Because I was faffing around a bit, to be honest, as I usually do. And as I said on our Periscope on Thursday, I was trying to keep my transfers. And I stayed firm, and I've got my 2 for the international game week. But
you were considering Ben Davies, weren't you?
I almost did Jones to Davies on Friday night. So whilst I'm pleased with whilst I'm obviously pleased with Jones, the points for Davies would have been fabulous.
Yeah, but those Spurs fullbacks look absolutely, you know. You've got to have one, I think. I think you've got to have one. You've got to have Davies or Trippier, and with Trippier and Aurier kind of rotating, I think Ben Davies looks absolutely essential, doesn't he? Absolutely essential.
Yeah. But then you look at the Spurs games going forward. We've got Liverpool coming up. We've got Man City coming up.
Hey, you can score against us. Don't worry about that.
United coming up. I'm not saying that we can't score against you, but the Davies, he may score some more goals. He may get some more assists, but I can't see him keeping that many clean sheets in the games that we've got coming up. So you're not going to get the level of points that he got in this game week, I doubt, in a lot of games.
Okay,
but yeah,
all right. Well, we're going to talk about plans over the international break. The FPL family, indeed, we've got our own plans over the international break. So this is going to be the last video that we do that's going to be about 45 to 50 minutes. That's tended to be what we've done, isn't it? We've been ramble on for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And we've had some feedback from the community, and we think it's the right thing to do as well. We're going to have 2 20-minute videos rather than a 40-minute video. So we're going to try and condense the game week we've just seen, condense that reaction into one 20-minute video, and then we'll follow up with that later in the week with a second video talking about the upcoming game week, if that makes sense, guys. And in between, we'll do the odd Periscope, and our Periscopes tend to be kind of off-the-cuff nonsense anyway, right? Whenever we feel like doing one. But we're going to try and do 2 times 20-minute videos rather than a 40 to 50-minute video, just so that it's a bit more bite-sized and a bit easier for you guys to consume, hopefully. So let us know your feedback. Put in the comments what you think. Like I say, this is going to be the last one that's about 40 to 50 minutes. So, yeah, look out for that after the international break. So, transfer plans after the international break. In fact, let's park that for a bit because there's a fixture swing coming up. I've got a lot of red in my team. I feel like I need a lot more blue. Don't know whether it's light blue or dark blue yet, but I feel like I need a bit more blue in my team and a bit less red. We'll talk about transfers later on. Why don't we talk about the game we've just seen? So where do you want to start? What was the key game? Chelsea Man City?
Okay, let's start with Chelsea Man City. I was not surprised by how well Man City played. I was surprised with how little possession Chelsea had of the ball in that game. It was only, I think, their second least possessing game that they've had
for
in
Chelsea.
The season. Yeah.
Right, okay.
They had something like...
You sort of expect that. You expect City to dominate possession though, don't you? Whether they play home or away, I think.
But then with Chelsea, you don't expect them to hit 38% of the ball. Now, that's not a lot for Chelsea. I think the key thing for me in that game was Man City really didn't miss Aguero, but Chelsea really missed Morata when he went off.
So I kind of feel two ways about that. I think City did miss Aguero, but I'll come to that in a second in terms of how that affected their dynamic, because I thought they were far less of a threat to the goal, and actually the goal came from a source that we weren't necessarily expecting in KDB. We were kind of expecting a Sterling or a Sané or a Jesus to get it, and in the end it was a brilliant 1-2 between. It was a lovely move between Jesus and KDB, and it was a sweet strike. As soon as he picked that ball up and got it in his stride, you could tell he was going to score. Yeah, but I'm absolutely with you on how the Morata injury changed the Chelsea dynamic completely. And I think, what did you think? I mean, I thought Antonio Conte bringing on Willian was the wrong thing to do. I actually thought he should have brought on Batshuayi.
It was very difficult because I actually thought that Chelsea started the game okay until
they did.
Until the Morata incident, and when he went off, it totally changed the way Chelsea were playing. City did a fantastic job on Alonso, I thought, in that game. There was no threat from him at all, really.
Do you know what? I agree with that, because if you look at the heat maps and you look at the average positions, Alonso was, he was pushed back and pushed back. It's almost as if City said, we know this guy's a threat, so we're going to keep pushing forward and pushing him back.
I agree.
Actually, if you look on the other side, I'm trying to think who was the other side. I think, was it Moses or whoever it was on the other side? Was getting forward a lot more, and Azpilicueta was getting forward. Oh, it was Azpilicueta, I think, wasn't it? But Alonso was being pushed back, and I think Man City absolutely saw him as a threat and went to nullify him. So I think it's spot on with that.
And I think when Morata went off, there just wasn't that key attacking player that Chelsea have been so dominant with over the last few weeks, and it really did. It made a massive difference to them, and it just wasn't quite right after that.
He's the focal point, isn't he? And if you look at Chelsea over the last few, let's say the last few years, actually, where they've had Drogba, or they've had Costa, they've been so used to playing with that focal man who's going to hold up the ball and bring the Hazards and the Alonsos and everybody else into play, and the Willians and the Pedros. And when Morata went off, Willian just didn't give him that. He just didn't give him that at all. And he and Hazard were kind of like, which one of us is supposed to be playing false nine? They didn't really know.
No, I agree.
And that was the time when City really dominated possession and dominated the ball. Now, when he brought Batshuayi on, all right, Batshuayi's not as good a player as Morata, in my opinion. But it brought the dynamic back to, we've got somebody to focus on, and they played better, and they come into the game the last sort of 10 or 15 minutes, I thought.
And I think, the key difference between Chelsea and Man City in that game, Man City without Aguero, now obviously any team's going to suffer if you lose a player like Aguero, but Man City have got a natural replacement for him in Jesus. Somebody
he likes them together, though, doesn't he?
He does like them together, but actually, what I think you saw in that game was KDB playing in a slightly different role. He was more attacking. He was the KDB that actually I was looking at the beginning of the season.
Sure. Okay.
So there was less of him holding back, more attacking form from him, and it just changed the way City played to a point where they were playing a different format to when Aguero plays. But it worked, and they still looked dominant, and that's why I don't think they missed him. Obviously, you miss a player like that, but I felt that they were still able to be themselves without him.
So, from an FPL perspective, I'll tell you who really impressed me. So, I thought Fabian Delph, who is 4.5 in the game, right? He played left back. So, is he an asset, guys? You tell us. I mean, 4.5, is he a better asset, therefore, than somebody like a Tom Carroll? So most of us will have a Tom Carroll. We've got a Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I actually think RLC, I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek will be a good asset in a couple of weeks. I honestly do.
He's staying on the Palace.
No, I think the fixtures have been really tough for Roy. Really, really tough. And they've got to go to Chelsea next, or maybe I think Chelsea have got to go to Sellers Park. Yeah. It's still tough for them. But after that, it starts to get a little bit easier. So I actually think Ruben Loftus-Cheek could be a good asset.
And I don't know. I mean, when I got Otamendi in as a City asset, because I felt I needed somebody, I didn't really look at Delph because I felt that...
Oh, why would you? I mean, Delph is a non-event, right, from an FPL perspective.
I also felt that he was a bit of a risk. He wasn't really going to play. But then with the Mendy injury, we're now starting to see a bit more of a change and a bit more structure perhaps from Pep in terms of who's going to start.
Yeah.
So, Delph, I think, got real potential now as a fancy asset.
I find it incredible that he spent 150, 160 million on wing-backs, yet here we are in a position where... And Mendy's been very unfortunate to be out for what looks like a very long time with a cruciate ligament. Yeah, that's really bad news for him. But Pep hasn't got anybody kind of naturally to come in and be that wing back now, so he's got to play Delph. And all right, Delph in the game is a 4.5 midfielder playing almost like reverse out of position, really. He's playing in a defensive role.
Yeah.
So if you've got him and you had him at the weekend and he gets a clean sheet, you don't get the 4-point clean sheet bonus, which is annoying. But as we know, with City and their system, with their wing-back system, those wing-backs are going to get forward like you wouldn't believe. So Delph is going to be getting forward as much as any other midfielder, frankly, as much as an Alonso or anybody else.
Yeah.
So if he can be a regular in that left wing-back, and I still think, even though he's not, I think he's right-footed, Danilo, so doesn't maybe naturally sit there. And I think he has played Sané in that position before, which is a terrible, terrible waste of his talent. If Delph can get a regular place there at 4.5 in your midfields, guys, maybe he's an enabler. Maybe he's not a bad shout.
I mean, the statistics on Chelsea in this game weren't great, and actually now that they've dropped more points this season so far than they did in the whole of last season at Stamford Bridge.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've dropped 8 points at Stamford Bridge this season.
They were phenomenal
so far.
last year there, weren't they? So
yeah, and they only dropped 6 in the whole of last season. So okay. But they played Man City, who arguably are the best team in the Premier League at the moment.
Very good, don't they? Very good.
So, your attacks on Chelsea they're kind of parked by the fact that it's Man City.
Yeah.
However, I do think that, when you're looking at Chelsea now, there are a few assets from Chelsea that you're looking at. You're not looking at the whole team thinking, I need Chelsea coverage. You're looking at Morata, if he's fit. You're looking potentially at Hazard, now he's coming back, and possibly Alonso, but he's expensive, so maybe Aspilicueta. But you're not looking at a lot of them. Whereas from City, it's take your pick from City at the moment.
It always has been, though, isn't it? And whoever you pick will get rotated. I mean, there's a few guys on Twitter that have got, Sterling and Sané. A couple of guys that have got Sterling in particular that say to me, hey, look, I've made peace with the fact that he will get rotated, he'll miss games, he'll come off after 60, 70 minutes. Yeah. But look, when he's on the pitch, he gets goals. And he's part of that City team that can create, goal-scoring opportunities at any chance. So, maybe having a Sterling, whatever it is, and I don't think he's expensive in the game. We need to look this up, but he's somewhere in the 7 to 8 bracket, I think. Maybe he's not a bad option for, say, get a Mkhitaryan out for a Sterling or a Mkhitaryan out for a Silva. That's absolutely a transfer I'm considering over the international break.
I just felt that when you looked at that game, I was surprised with how Chelsea performed once Morata left the field. And for me, that is a concern moving forward if you're a Chelsea fan. But in terms of as a fantasy manager, it also makes Morata, a fit Morata, a really positive fantasy asset. Yeah,
I'm with you. I think Morata is more and more coming to the fore now. We've got to wait for news, guys, on this hamstring injury. We've got to make sure it's not too bad for him.
Yeah.
But absolutely, if he is fit and firing and doesn't pick up any other knocks over the international break, he's got that one thing that the City forwards haven't got, which is he is nailed on in that team. Batshuayi, bless him, is an all right backup and did a pretty good job when he came on against City. But he's no Morata. And Morata is a really clever player. It's the first time I've really sat and watched him properly in a game against City. Yeah. And actually, until the moment he went off, his running is very, very clever. He was one particular set piece where he was started very, very, really offside position. And he kind of arced to run back in between the centre halves and got in between them on the end of a Fabregas cross, and he headed just over. And I just thought, that's so clever, that movement. So I think he's got it all, this guy, Morata. He looks very, very good. He can clearly score with his head. We've seen that so far with his 3 or 4 maybe headed goals. Yeah. And looks to be able to score with either foot as well. So I think, good asset, absolutely.
If you had Morata this week, it's really unfortunate what happened. I know a lot of people transferred him in this week. I spent a lot of last week talking about it, but I didn't want him for this week. I wanted him for next week, or the week after internationals rather.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I just think if you've got him, don't unless they say his hammy's bad and he's out for a long time, just stick on him because he is going to be fantastic.
Okay, I think we've spent quite a bit of time there talking about Chelsea and Man City, but it is worth it, I think, because if you look at the fixtures after the international break, City have got a couple of home games. Chelsea's fixtures look really good for a number of weeks, actually, after the international break. So I think you're going to be wanting to have Morata, or you're going to be wanting to have, a Chelsea defender. If Alonso's too much, then have a Aspilicueta or a David Luiz or something like that.
I agree.
It's absolutely something I'm looking at over the break. I've got 2 free transfers. I'm going to be doing my kind of mini wildcard thing again with, maybe taking a 4-point hit for getting a few, 3 changes in there.
I'll be doing the same.
Of those 3 changes, I'm pretty sure that as long as Morata's hamstring is okay, he's going to be one of those changes, I think. So, cool. All right. So, yeah, go on.
Shall we move on? Shall we go to the other side of Manchester?
Yeah, go on then. Yeah, United. Yeah.
And might as well start at the top of the table, mightn't we, really? So United, obviously, poor old Palace.
Another good picture, wasn't it? Yeah.
We knew that Palace were going to get smashed this week. It was just where the goals came from.
And the goals were coming from assets we were not considering, I don't think.
Also, Mata scoring on the 3rd minute, Fellaini with 2. All right, Lukaku did eventually get one.
Any of you guys with Fellaini in your team? That is a phenomenal shout, by the way. I think he's possibly an enabler as well in that midfield. I think he's sub 5. He's maybe 4.9.
Is he?
I think so, yeah.
Wow. But he won't be soon because people will jump on that.
People will jump on him, I guess, yeah, even though the United fixtures do look tricky after the international break. But at 4.9, he could absolutely take up one of the United slots, couldn't he?
Yeah, and I think, okay, again, it's another one of those things, isn't it? Palace were dreadful. I think Roy Hodgson referred to them as looking like an outclassed boxer. That was his words. So, again, you've got to take what you say about United with a bit of trepidation here because Palace were so appalling. However, United were just dominant. They were totally in control of the game. They looked absolutely fantastic.
So before we go to United, very, very quick word on Palace then. Yes, I mean, mentally, I think they'd written off these 2 games in Manchester. I just think in their heads they just had no chance of winning them. And, an aggregate defeat of 9-0, I think it was, demonstrates that. What do you think? In 30 seconds, do you think Roy can get it right there? Do you think that the Ruben Loftus-Cheeks and the Wilfried Zahas and people like that are going to be back on our radars in a couple of weeks?
Until Zaha and Benteke are back, I think Palace have got no hope of winning any game.
Well, Benteke's not back for a long time, right?
So I can't. I just think that unless Zaha comes back quickly, I can't see they've got any hope.
You're not backing Roy to get it right?
No.
I have to agree with you. I think
I can't see. I watch Palace, and I can't see anything good about them at the moment. I'm sorry, Palace fans, I really am. But there's nothing. There's just nothing there that says we can win a game or we can even score a goal.
True, yeah, because they're still blanking, aren't they? They're still on 0 goals. I mean, they've got, I think, the Chelsea game, and then let's have a look. They've got, I think, something else, another tricky one. So Newcastle away. West Ham at home, game week 10. I think they're going to be targeting that one mentally. I think they're going to try and get something from the Newcastle game. But that West Ham at home game, they've got to win that. If they lose that, then they've got to go to Spurs, then at home to Everton.
But that West Ham game's not going to be easy because Bilic is under fire. He needs to win that game.
Yeah.
So I really worry for Palace. I really do. I can't see where the goals are coming from and I cannot see where a win's going to come from.
All right, I'm with you. Okay, so United, assets there?
Well, obviously, that Lukaku. First, no player has scored more goals in their opening 7 Premier League matches than him.
It's consistent, isn't he? It's consistent. Yeah,
7
he keeps kind of banging them in, 1
games.
per game. Yeah, okay.
I mean...
Does that make him essential, though? Does that justify the £11.7 million price tag?
I mean, you're talking to hashtag no Lukaku here. So, no, yeah. I don't think he is essential as long as your other... So, this week, for me, I had a stinker with Firmino. He won't be in my team moving forward. However, so yes, I think a second striker who's performing is essential. Lukaku, potentially, yes. Morata, potentially. Jesus, Aguero, whoever it is. I don't necessarily think you have to have Lukaku. At the moment, I think you have to have Kane. But I don't think you have to have Lukaku.
Well, we'll come to Mr. Kane in a minute. I think he's absolutely essential, and if you've not got him, you need to get him. But with Lukaku, I'm starting to come round to be of the opinion that he's not essential. I'm starting to get to the point where, United, let's not beat around the bush. It's a phenomenal start to the season. Goal difference plus 19. Played 7, won 7. 19 goals, 0 conceded, bang. What a start. What a start from United. And they've put themselves well up there in terms of, the title contenders. However, they haven't really played anyone yet, in my opinion. They haven't really played anybody that's really, really tested them, in my opinion. And they've got to go to, I think they've got to go to Anfield next, or maybe we've got to go to Old Trafford, let's see. So they've got to go to Anfield next. If anybody can score past them, Liverpool can. I mean, they can clearly score past that Liverpool defence too. But that could be a game that's really tests that United defence, and it'll be a real acid test for that United defence.
They've also got Tottenham and Chelsea coming up, haven't they?
Well, this is it, and the fixtures really toughen up for United. So the next few, like I say, they are going to Anfield, and they're away at Huddersfield, which I know Spurs have just won at Huddersfield 4-0, but Huddersfield up until that game had looked pretty assured, actually.
Yeah,
and they're not going to come up. They're not going to come up against Kane every week. Then they've got to go to... So Tottenham are going to Old Trafford, so it's Tottenham, then Chelsea, then Newcastle. So the United fixtures really start to toughen up. So is there a school of thought that says, over the course of the next 5, where City's fixtures look good and Chelsea's fixtures look good, should we be dropping Lukaku for Morata or Jesus? And keeping Kane, clearly.
Well, I just think, look, it's one of those things, I've said it before, I make peace with the fact that Lukaku is a fantastic player. He is a fantastic fantasy asset. He will score you points probably most weeks because he'll pop up with one like he did in this game, like the 80-odd minute.
Yeah.
And I'll make peace with that as long as my players are doing well. And I just think that at the moment, in the games that Man United have got coming up, there are other players in other teams who offer you more potential for bigger returns per game than Lukaku does.
Sure. Yeah, sure. And I guess if you look at the next 5, Chelsea have got Palace, Watford, Bournemouth, United, West Brom. There's definite captain potential there for Morata amongst that lot. If you look at Spurs' fixtures, Bournemouth at home, you're going to be captaining Kane for that. Liverpool, United, Palace at home, so you're going to captain him for that. You might even captain him for the Liverpool game, potentially.
Well, you do have a habit of conceding, so, you know.
Yeah, totally. So I look at that next 5 and I think, well, of those United games, Liverpool, Huddersfield, Tottenham, Chelsea, Newcastle, which of those 5 am I going to captain Lukaku? And well, maybe Newcastle at home, maybe. Huddersfield away, well, not in a game week where City are playing Burnley at the Etihad, and Chelsea are playing Watford at home, so I'll probably pick someone from there. Tottenham at Old Trafford, no. Chelsea away, Liverpool away, probably not. Newcastle at home. So yeah, and I always come back to this, guys. I say, with your heavy hitters up front, they're all good options, in my opinion, and Lukaku will get goals over that 5. But it's where's your captain? Who's your explosive captain within that 5? And we all know Kane can be explosive, so you want him in your side. But over the next 5, I see Jesus and Morata in particular being good captaincy options.
And we talk about it time and time again on here. Those 3 striker spots are so hard fought over, and you need to have them working for you. Mine definitely are not working for me at the moment, but they need to be in order to be high up in this game. Now, for me, therefore, Lukaku, yes, fantastic asset, but there are other assets out there who offer you better.
Okay, Mkhitaryan, 4 games, 3 blanks. What are you doing with him?
I don't know. I don't know what to do with Mkhitaryan.
And if you transfer him out, potentially you're going to lose some value.
So
right?
I'm going to lose a lot of value in Mkhitaryan because I've pretty much had him. I think I had him game week 2.
Yeah.
So I will stand to lose a lot on Mkhitaryan. I am inclined at the moment with him to leave him for now because he's not expensive in terms of the midfield.
Well, he is. He's got mid-8s, isn't he?
Not when I got him, was he really? Okay. So I think
the question is, in that midfield bracket,
who
are you going to have?
Replace him with? Yeah. So I think I've got bigger fish to fry at the moment. I need to sort out Firmino because he's just a waste of space in my team at the moment. I've still got Mounier who needs to be sorted out.
Yeah, that needs sorting.
I need to deal with. I'm really thinking about what I do about Mickey, but I'm also thinking about what I do about Ali because I've got a problem with him blanking all the time as well, and he's a lot more money. I definitely need a wild card. I've got a problem with Ali as well because he blanks a lot for me, and we'll talk about him in a minute when we talk about Spurs. But yeah, and then I've got Alonso who's a lot of money, and could I make that use better? So I've got so many issues to solve.
So much to think about here.
So many issues to solve over the international break that for me, Mkhitaryan is the least of my worries. So he will be staying put because even if he drops in value, I'm not going to lose anything on him.
All right. Well, I'm certainly considering Mkhitaryan out for sure.
I can understand that.
And if I was going to take him out, it would probably be for David Silva. Or if I'm feeling a little bit more punty, I may go for a Sterling or a Sané. Probably not Sané because I just worry that Pep's going to do a Pep and play him at left back, and I worry about that. But Mkhitaryan to Silva looks okay to me.
Certainly.
Haven't thought it through yet, guys. And what we'll do is, as usual with these videos, we're going to review this game week in this video. And then at the end of the international break, we'll do another video, probably a 20-minute one of our new 20-minute ones. If we can fit everything into 12 minutes. I'm looking at the time already. We're already at 24 minutes and we've rambled about 2 games. Or we'll probably do a Periscope or something, guys. I don't know. But look out for that at FPL Family on Twitter. And we will cover the upcoming game week 8, a bit later in the 2-week break. So we ought to move on swiftly, I think. So we've done City and Chelsea. We've done United.
I guess we're now into third, so that's Spurs.
Yeah, go on then. Talk about your lot.
Okay, so I was actually surprised how well we beat Huddersfield. I think, bless them, their manager did say something, didn't he, about how when you go down that quickly, it was over before it started. And I think that was what it was for Huddersfield, actually. It was just really hard to come back from. Kane, obviously, with his 2 goals. Ben Davies, the boy just can do no wrong at the moment.
Trippier 2 assists, right?
Trippier 2 assists.
Looking very good.
Even Sissoko come on and got a goal. I mean, but let's talk about Kane for a minute. 13 goals in September he's got. The kid is just unbelievable right now.
I almost feel like we should stop talking about him on these vlogs, because if you ain't got him, guys, you're doing something wrong. I mean, this guy is phenomenal. I mean, the only thing in the back of my head is that next 2 games, I think you're at Wembley.
We've got
can he blank? Can he blank? I mean,
we're not going to blank against you lot, surely.
You'd like to think not. Yeah, you'd like to think that you're coming up against our defence, which is second worst in the league, and then Bournemouth, which is terrible. Yeah.
So hopefully he's not going to blank. I think we'll park Kane, because if you don't have him, you're silly. The thing I've got, the thing that I'm really kind of. Ali's really annoying at the moment. He's blanking quite regularly. In games where we're scoring a lot of goals, he's blanking.
Doesn't seem to be quite as deadly as he was, back in the last season. I'm not quite sure what's there, but there's something there,
something's not quite right. And even Pochettino had a little bit of a comment about him in his diving at the end of the game.
Was a bit
100%
unnecessary,
right,
wasn't it? Yeah.
100% right what Pochettino said. He got it spot on. But there's just something not quite right with Ali at the moment. And again, when you've got a player who's taken up that much of your budget in your fantasy team, you need them hitting every week, and he's just not doing the business.
Do you see, it's something I noticed back into last season when Kane was injured or maybe not on form. I noticed that Ali really takes it upon himself to be the guy that he's suddenly the go-to guy. He notices that his mate Kane's not playing well, and he steps it up and he gets up to the mark and he gets the goals. I wonder whether there's a bit of Ali that, I don't know, maybe it's a mental thing, it's a mentality thing. And tell me, maybe I've made this up, guys, but tell me what you think, whether you've noticed the same thing. I think because Kane is so, he's the match winner. He's a fantastic, possibly one of the best in the world right now, if not the best in the world. Debatable. Let us know what you think. Neymar's free kick the other night was pretty special, wasn't it?
Neymar who?
Yeah, Neymar who? Yeah, it's all about Harry Kane. So Kane is that good. He's that good right now. Is Dele Alli kind of going, I don't need to take that responsibility. I don't need to step up. I'll just let him do the business.
Maybe. I think there is, if you watch Spurs at the moment, and obviously I watch Spurs a lot, Ali is doing that thing that we were talking about with KDB at the beginning of the season. He's assisting the assist. He's getting the balls into people like Eriksen and Trippier and Dyer. And so as a fantasy asset, he's just not worth it at the moment. But as a Premiership asset, he's fantastic in your team. Bit stupid at times, but
All right. Spurs fullbacks, if you're going to go one, Ben Davies, I think, isn't it? Nailed on, right? 5.8.
Yeah, if you're going to have a Spurs defender,
you go there,
absolutely,
right?
you're going Ben Davies, so you're silly to go with anyone else.
The new centre-half looks all right, Davinson Sanchez.
I think he's
not as an FPL asset yet, I don't think. Let's see if he comes to the fore, but as a Premier League player, it's very, very good.
I actually think that he won't. He's not going to be that great a fantasy asset. From what I've seen of him, he's going to be the holding one.
Not when you've got Davies there as well. So
and I think Davies is absolutely essential really at the moment. But then we've got some tough games coming up where I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet. So what you've got to weigh up then is there a defender out there who's going to keep you a clean sheet? Because they...
Wow. Davies is getting... His heat maps are special. They are ridiculous. He is so attacking. He's like this year's Alonso. He's so attacking and so far forward that, if in my moves over the international break, I was speaking about Lukaku to Morata, maybe that gives me a bit more money. And one of the things I'd like to do is to bring in Ben Davies, despite the fixture swing out for Spurs' favour, as you've said. It's not, clinically out of your favour. I mean, Bournemouth at home, you're going into that game without a Ben Davies. I think you're a bit worried. And Crystal Palace at home a few weeks later. So I think if you've got him, stick with him and probably stick with him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Okay, Arsenal versus Brighton. funny game, wasn't it, from an FPL perspective? Because we're all sitting there waiting for Lacazette to bang, and we're all sitting there waiting for Sanchez hat-trick, and in the end it was Iwobi and Monreal, right? And I think we mentioned on a vlog maybe this time last week or a couple of weeks ago the fact that when Sanchez plays, he kind of nullifies Kolasinac on that side a little bit by coming inside, and Kolasinac kind of is a bit like, oh, do I go around the outside of Sanchez or whatever? Yeah. And Sanchez is always saying to Kolasinac that if you've got the ball, you give it to me. I'm the Don over this side. You give it to me, and I'll do the business. Whereas on the other side, whoever it's on Arsenal side, I've noticed that there's none of that going on. There's no hierarchy there. Bellerin, if anything, is really bombing forward and getting beyond the winger. So I think the Sanchez thing is kind of just curtailing Kolasinac a little bit. And as a result, Monreal is popping up with the BPS, and I think we mentioned it a week ago. He's a bit of a bounce magnet, and then he pops up with a goal this game week. So for potentially $500,000 less, he's got to be worth a look, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But I think, I'm not often very positive about Arsenal on here, but I will say that throughout September they have looked really good. So they're unbeaten in September, 5 wins and 1 draw.
Yeah, okay, don't they? Yeah.
But Sanchez actually. I was keeping a close eye on what was going on with him this game. He had twice as many shots, created twice as many opportunities as any other Arsenal player on the field. Now, okay, he blanked in terms of his FPL points this game week because he didn't score. But I think moving forward, we're starting to see the Sanchez of old in terms of he's getting up there. He's the one that's creating the opportunities. He's the one that's getting the shots on goal.
Yeah.
So with the way Arsenal's fixtures are coming...
Well, Arsenal's fixtures are okay, I think. Watford away, Everton away, Swansea home, City away, Tottenham home. So,
but those next 3 games,
bag, I think. The next 3 look good.
Watford,
the next 3 look
Swansea
okay.
and Everton. I think looking at those, Sanchez could be a really, really viable asset for us.
I think the thing you've got to think about with Sanchez is that if you're going to spend the thick end of 12 million, because I think that's what he is. He might be 11.9 or 11.8, but whatever he is. So the thick end of 12 million on a midfielder. You want to be putting the armband on him regularly.
Yeah,
if not every game, every other game. And at the moment, we've got, if you take the armband off of Kane, you're a brave man. And if you're doing that, you're probably going to a Lukaku or a Morata or one of the other big hitters up front.
Sure.
I don't think we've seen enough of Sanchez yet to suggest that he's worthy of the armband. However, if you are chasing and you need to get up your leagues, then maybe Sanchez is not a bad punt, right?
I just think we're starting to see glimmers of the Sanchez of old coming back now.
Yeah, sure.
And that could make him a really viable asset. And it could also mean that as people start getting on him, his price will increce.
Yeah,
so it's just something to be aware of. This is.
I'm not sure about Lacazette yet, either are you? He's a bit hot and cold,
I'm not sure about Lacazette. I have weeks where I watch Lacazette. I watched him against West Ham, was it, last Monday night?
Sounds about right, yeah.
And he looked brilliant, I thought. And then... very little from him this game week.
Yeah, I did. Well, we were out, weren't we? So we didn't watch the Arsenal game live today. We're shooting this on a Sunday, guys. And we're yet to watch Match of the Day. So I haven't really seen how Lacazette got on in that game. So let us know, guys. If you think he's still a good asset, then let us know. You looked at the heat map?
Yeah, for Lacazette, he wasn't as involved as I would like my striker of that money to be. Okay. At the moment, I'm sticking him in the Firmino camp. I think they're a bit hit and miss together, them two.
And Brighton, I think, standard looking a bit goal shy. I mean, they've not got really much of a goal threat at all, is the reality. Pascal Gross is looking... I think he got booked, so not much of a game there either. So if he's going to... I mean, we're all talking about this guy being an assist machine. Well, who's he going to assist? He's got no one up there really putting anything away. So...
No.
It's a tricky one, guys. It's a tricky one with Brighton and Hove Albion at the minute. I'm just trying to find their fixtures. I think they look quite good, yes. So... Everton at home, West Ham away, Southampton at home, Swansea away, Stoke at home. So there's some really, really nice fixtures.
Particularly Everton at the moment.
Yeah, anybody will play Everton at the minute. So we'll come to those guys next. But if you're on Brighton assets, I think fixtures-wise, I think you'd probably stick with them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many... Yeah. I don't know that there's much to say about Brighton other than I don't think you need to panic about... Their players aren't expensive as fancy assets anyway, are they? So
true.
They're not ones to panic about, I think. But
you've got defenders, I think you stick with them with those fixtures, don't you? I mean, Everton can't score for toffee at the minute, if you excuse the pun. It's good, isn't it? I was waiting, I've been thinking about that one for ages.
And throw me off. Dunk. I got rid of Dunk, but if you've still got Dunk, actually, if you look at his, the creative stuff again, he's still up there. So
yeah, okay. So let's have a quick word about Everton then. So
what's
very disappointing result for them again today, right?
Well, I was surprised, really surprised.
Were you?
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, every time I watch Everton, there is no pace in that side.
Okay, so the first 20 minutes of that Everton game, I thought Everton looked good. They started the first 20 minutes well. Calvert-Lewin looked attacking. He looked forward-thinking. I thought they looked really, really good.
But look, Koeman spent how much in the summer?
I know.
And he's playing Niasse. He's looking to Niasse, the guy that he didn't want.
Go.
He said, Niasse, bugger off, I don't want you in the summer. All of a sudden, he's starting because he's the only one who's a bit quick.
I mean, they've lost 4 of their last Premier League games.
Yeah,
4 of the last 5.
I don't know what's going on there. I think there's something fundamentally
He's at risk of getting fired, surely, Koeman.
Of course he is. Yeah, of course he is. And Burnley,
on the other
defensively,
hand,
are very good, right?
Burnley, yeah, absolutely. And actually, that Hendrick goal that they scored today, 24 passes.
Yeah, it's a nice goal, right?
24 passes.
You don't associate Burnley with playing a bit of football like that, but yeah, happy days. They were very good.
What Everton doing, allowing them to make 24 passes? Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's Burnley's best ever start to a Premier League season. I think if you're on Burnley, you stick. But if you're on Everton...
Yeah, and I think Everton almost like the anti-Liverpool, Spurs and Man City at the minute. If you watch, in particular, Man City against Chelsea, what they did a phenomenal job of high pressing. Their high pressing game was bang on. And they were shutting the Chelsea players down, not giving even the ball-playing defenders time to do anything. They were around Kante like anything. Everton, the complete opposite. You get the ball against them, they'll give you time and space. It's just unbelievable.
And I just can't work it out with Everton because at the moment, we talked about this before, their fixtures are looking lovely coming up. Starting with this week against Burnley, and it was, they've got these nice run of fixtures. It was a turning point for them after that really horrible start to the season, and I don't know whether that horrible start to the season with their fixtures has really affected them.
Yeah, potentially.
Possibly.
Yeah,
but there is something seriously wrong at Everton at the moment, and whilst I was, seriously thinking about getting on Everton, I'm staying well away from them at the moment.
Yeah, me too. I'm not touching them with a barge pole. Well, my Burnley defenders, that's another clean sheet for Ben Mee, so I'm happy with that. Tarkowski looks good. All the Burnley defenders look okay. Nothing for Brady this week.
No, but I'm staying with him. I think he's still worth it as a fantasy asset.
And their fixtures look all right. West Ham at home. Then they go to City, which is very tricky. But then Newcastle at home, Southampton away, Swansea at home. So, yeah, all right. I'll stick on the Burnley assets.
Okay. Let's talk about West Ham for a minute.
Go on
so
then.
West Ham 1 and Swansea 0. Now that game surprised me. They were quite happily playing out a 0-0 draw, and to be honest, that was about what I was expecting.
It sounded woeful, by the way, that game.
I don't know if you heard the fans, the West Ham fans. It was awful. The jeers and the boos at Bilic. It was dreadful. It's a really unhappy place down there at the moment.
Is there any FPL assets in either of those two sides that are worth mentioning from this game?
No. I mean, Swansea, they had 1 shot on target. They only had 3 touches in the box. And they were playing Ayew, Bonny and Abraham. 3 touches in the box.
Yeah.
I mean, those 3 players should be really good fantasy assets, and they are not at the moment.
The only one I want to pick out from that game is Cresswell. So Cresswell was one, he's a defender for West Ham. I was thinking of getting him in for this game week. In the end, I thought that Mourinho was playing my games with us, so I didn't and stuck with Jones. And in the end, that was fine. But Cresswell got, obviously, the 6 points for the clean sheet, got 2 bonus points. So, hoovering up the BPS, looked good. Again, getting into dangerous positions, providing crosses. I think it's only a matter of time before he gets an assist or maybe even, I don't know about a goal, but I can see a game where maybe he gets a couple of assists and all of a sudden it's, a 12 or 13 pointer. So I think he's one to keep on the radar, is Aaron Cresswell.
Well, we've not been talking about the radar again, have we?
Well, yeah.
I'll round up the radar in a minute.
Same mistake as last week.
Okay, so another guy, if we're talking about the radar, moving on to another game that I do want, he's been on my radar before and he's going back on it, is Richarlison at Watford.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I really like watching this kid. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, now...
likes a last-minute winner, doesn't he?
He really
or a last-minute equaliser.
But not only does he like a last-minute goal, but he was really good in that game. He looked really good.
Where was he in the bonus points, do you know?
I don't know, actually. I could look that up in a minute.
Be interesting to see his BPS, because I thought the eye test was, he looked very, very good. But it'd be interesting to see how he got on in BPS.
So Watford and West Brom 2-2. Obviously, Richarlison. We just got to give a little mention to Rondon, haven't we?
Oh, we have to mention Rondon.
We have to give a little
Tell
mention
us why
to
we have to
Rondon.
mention Rondon.
Well, I had him, didn't I? And somebody actually did tweet you, didn't they, and tell you I should have stuck with him all season just for that one goal in game
So you guys
week 7.
have been following us right from the beginning, right from the first video. And if you haven't watched the first video yet, go back and have a look. Rondon was in one of your pre-season drafts. And
in all my drafts.
You maintain, I appreciate you maintain that he was there because you just auto-filled. But I think there was a little piece of you that thought Rondon might be all right for West Brom going into the season, and I was giving you some proper stick.
Well, he scored now.
And now he scored. It's only taken him 7 game weeks, but he has eventually started and got a goal. So does he go on your radar?
No.
Please say no.
No, he's not going on my radar. I only wanted to really talk about the Watford game, just to talk about Richarlison. But
looks good. He's absolutely on my radar as well as an enabler, right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure what Watford's fixtures looking like.
So Watford, Arsenal, Chelsea next. So maybe don't get him in right now. But then Stoke at home, Everton away, West Ham at home. So from game week 10 onwards.
Okay, well from game week 10 then. But
he's worth having a look.
Richarlison is certainly sitting there nicely on the radar.
Decore as well got the goal. Looked good again. I mean that's his 3rd goal I think this season. Strong, powerful midfielder. I like the look of him.
Yeah.
I like the look of him. So put him potentially on the radar.
You can go on the radar with Richarlison. The pair of them together. Okay, quick roundup of the other games then. What is going on at Southampton? So Stoke 2, Southampton 1.
Yeah,
interesting game. Crouch coming on off the bench, scoring a goal. Good for him. Forced to saving a penalty.
But that's City centre-back pairing. You know, I think they've been playing Wesley Hooch, their new guy, for some time. And they've been mixing and matching him with Stevens and Yoshida. All of a sudden, he drops the guy.
Van der Vaart, yeah.
And he puts...
Van der Vaart? That's not right.
That's a blast from the past. He puts Virgil van Dijk in there, alongside, I think, Yoshida, who I think was in the points this week. Yeah, you have put VDV. It's in Van der Vaart. Yeah, got your acronym wrong. So he puts Virgil van Dijk in, and they concede a couple of goals. And now, fair play to Stoke. I mean, you know... I thought they looked, and again I haven't seen it in too much detail this game, but I think they looked okay.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, I'm expecting Hoot to come back in against whoever it is they're playing next. Let's have a look. Newcastle at home, and the fixtures look good. Newcastle at home, West Brom at home, Brighton away, Burnley home. So.
And I'm still going to stick on my Southampton defender.
I think you do with fixtures like that. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But I mean, they scored a goal this week, right? But it's come from Yoshida.
Yeah, right? Random, right? Yeah, they just can't seem to.
What's going on with their attacking?
A couple of the Southampton fans that follow us on Instagram and Twitter, I think we're getting in people like Shane Long, and you know, I think there was a bit of fingers crossed and team loyalty going on there because Shane Long, that's a random pick if you ask me.
Right, well, Berahino, he has now not scored a Premier League goal for 31 hours and 48 minutes.
Oh, it's just
31 hours.
Part of me feels for the guy, but then I think no, he's actually not a very nice guy, so I'm not that bothered.
I think if you've got Southampton defenders, they are worth sticking with. But if you've got anyone Southampton in the midfield or up front, get rid.
I think I'm with you. I think that's the only FPL statement I want to make about that game. Stoke, Diouf and Crouch, right? So
Diouf and Crouch, yeah.
Much to say about them?
Well, not really. Crouch coming off the bench to score.
You're certainly not going to be thinking about drafting one of those in your coveted front three, are you? So I don't think we're looking at Stoke assets much.
Somebody else that you're definitely not getting players from, Bournemouth and Leicester playing out a 0-0 draw. Unless you, I mean, Leicester potentially, I don't know what their fixtures are like going forward, but I suppose potentially you might be looking at a Leicester defender at the moment.
They got West Brom at home, Swansea, Everton, Stoke, Man City, so it's kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. Vardy didn't really come to the party as people were expecting.
No.
So yeah, a bit of a non-event that game.
Yeah, and Bournemouth have got to come to Spurs next, so I can't see them keeping a clean sheet there.
It's looking tougher and tougher for them, isn't it? Yeah. Do you want a quick word on Newcastle Liverpool that we watched this afternoon?
Do you want to talk about it?
I can, yeah. Typical Liverpool performance, wasn't it? You know, a stunning strike from the little man up top, and then complete farce at the back. And I appreciate Matip got the tackle in, actually won the ball. It deflected off of Hossalu's shin and kind of dribbled in. I mean, that was comical to start with, but the fact that John Joe Shelby can pick it up with not a red shirt near him, anywhere near him, and he can just slot a ball through our back four like a knife through butter, was criminal, really. And any other striker would have just picked that up and scored. The fact that it was Hossalu, he managed to mess it up as best. He's tried his best to mess it up, and Matip kind of was very unlucky with the deflection. But look, listen, I mean, I'm getting bored of talking about this every single week. You know, attacking wise, yes, Liverpool look good again. Still wasting a lot of chances though. So, you know, people getting upset with Salah blanking this week. People getting upset with Firmino being benched. You know, so I understand all of those things. Certainly not looking at any Liverpool defensive assets. And then Newcastle looks okay, I thought. You know, Hosselu got the goal, but I'm not, you know, buzzing to get on him, to be honest. I didn't think he looked that great.
To be honest, I think Newcastle were very lucky in that game. So
yeah,
there
maybe.
were, one of my statistics for you, Liverpool had 614 passes during that game to Newcastle's 296.
Yeah, but that just shows you what's been happening with Liverpool recently.
Yeah,
we have all the possession, all the passes, all the shots, all the chances, and there's just nothing clinical up top.
Absolutely, but I think that Newcastle were lucky to come away with a point from that game. Liverpool deserved the 3 points, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think if you've got Liverpool assets, I have Salah. I will not be getting off of him. I think he's a great fantasy asset. I am going to get off the Firmino bandwagon, just because I feel like there is better value up top than there is on him. But, you know, if you've got... A lot of people I noticed in the leagues that I'm in have taken a chance on Coutinho, early chance on Coutinho,
Great
and it's
player,
paying off for them massively at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm in a similar boat to you. So I've got Firmino and Salah. I'm actually considering getting off Salah as well.
Are you?
I just think that the fixtures for Liverpool look tricky. Do I want to go without any Liverpool coverage? Because I'm pretty much getting off Firmino too. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe keeping Salah.
Got next week?
So the Liverpool fixtures do look tricky. So United, and then go to Wembley to play Spurs, then Huddersfield, West Ham, Southampton. But again, fixtures with Liverpool is deceptive, isn't it? Because actually, against the top 4 teams or the so-called bigger teams, Liverpool tend to play better. They tend to get better results.
Us. Always.
Except if we got a Man City this season. And it's against the so-called lesser teams where we seem to struggle. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, I think. And Liverpool assets will be a risk going forward. But I can certainly see why people are getting off Firmino because, he's going through a bit of a dry spell at the minute for sure.
Okay, so quick...
Last couple of games, let's whiz through them.
I think we're done.
Is that all the games?
Huddersfield and Spurs we've done. Bournemouth and Leicester we've done.
Let's have a look. I think that's it, isn't it? Perfect.
I think we've covered them all.
All right. So
I was just going to just give a quick... So in terms of the radar, I will obviously do a bigger update of the radar when we talk about game week 8. But players that I just think for now we need to mention, we've already talked about Richarlison and Decor. I think they are definitely going on the radar. I'm putting Morata on there just simply because I think he's one we've got to watch in terms of his hamstring injury. If he wasn't injured, I wouldn't bother putting him on the radar because I think, well, you know, he's clearly one to watch. Yeah. But because of his injury, I think he's definitely got to be.
You put Aaron Cresswell on Aaron Cresswell from West Ham. I think he's worth putting on the radar. Yeah.
Other players that I want to put on the radar this week, Josh King at Bournemouth.
Really?
Now, he's going on the very, very edge of the radar.
I should think so.
Very edge of the radar. And there's 2 reasons for him being on the edge. One, he's got to come to Wembley next, so I don't think it's right time for him yet. But
Josh King.
But he's one I'm watching at the moment. He's one I'm watching. Why? He's one I'm watching.
It's outrageous.
He's one of that I'm watching at the moment.
Okay.
Because I think in that third, as you all well know, I'm playing the season with 2 key strikers and 1 lesser striker. He's potentially going to be...
You're going to change that, by the way? You're going to change that?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
So he's potentially going to be my 3rd striker. I'm potentially thinking about swapping him for Mounier.
Okay.
I thought that in that Bournemouth and Leicester game, he was about the only thing that was interesting.
Brilliant.
Sorry to everybody else that's playing in that game. But he did look lively. I thought he looked like he actually wanted to...
They can't score goals though, Bournemouth. They don't create anything.
No, but I just think he's one to watch. So
right.
he's going
right
on the very edge of the radar. But yeah, there he's going.
Not sure I'm with you on that one.
All right.
It's your radar.
You are interesting.
Nacho Monreal, got to be on there, I think, in my opinion. Is it a bit chasing points because he scored the goal? Maybe, but we called it out a couple of weeks ago. He does like a BPS. He does like a bonus point. He gets forward more because... You know, you've got the likes of El Neni and Coquelin and all those guys in there, and Xhaka kind of protecting, so he's got that bit of licence to go forward. I like him. I think at 5-5 he's worth a shot on the radar.
All right, well, we'll put Monreal on the radar.
It's a bit chasing points, guys. I appreciate that, but Arsenal's defence shouldn't do too badly over the upcoming game weeks in terms of fixtures. Game week 11, it gets a bit tricky when they go to City, but the next 3 games, Watford, Everton, Swansea, I think you back them there.
Yeah, and I think for those of you that are like me, that are looking at maybe taking out Alonso because he's too expensive, another Chelsea defender makes a lot of sense with their games that they've got coming up.
Yeah.
So people to go on the radar there, Aspilicueta, David Luiz.
Yeah, I think of those two, I think Aspilicueta's got far more potential to get
depends
assists. I mean, Luiz can get a goal, can't he? But
yeah, definitely. But I think it depends on, and for me, probably the one that I choose, I might still go Ben Davies, to be honest, and just not have a Chelsea defender. But for me, it depends on how much money you want to free up from the Alonso thing, because obviously Luiz is cheaper than Aspilicueta.
Sure.
So yeah.
Okay, and you're going to put Richarlison on from Watford?
100% Richarlison. He's going quite central, actually.
Okay.
He's got some tough games coming up. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but I think Richarlison has got real fantasy potential, and Decor can go on there too.
The only one that's, again, he's probably periphery, and we've spoken about him again on these vlogs, and we reviewed the Stoke game, and we said there wasn't much to go on there. Choupo-Moting got an assist, I think, in that game. And once they've got game week 8 out of the way, where they have to go to the Etihad, their fixtures then read Bournemouth at home, Watford away, Leicester at home, Brighton away. So the next 4 from game week 9 onwards don't look too bad for Stoke, guys. So maybe if Kevin Wimmer can hold down a starting place at 4-4 at the back, he could be good. I think if you've got Choupo-Moting, you maybe bench him for the City game. And then, stick him back in, I think, game week after that. He could go on there.
He can go on there.
Nice one. All right, I think we're pretty much done. So, guys, look out for another one of these videos, episode 12, which will be, we're going to try to make it much shorter, right? We're going to try and make these videos a bit more bite-sized. I don't know how we're going to do that, because I think we run through those fixtures pretty quickly there, and we've done 50.5 minutes. So I think
the only way you can run through it quickly is if I don't talk, if I just sit here.
Oh, we don't want that. We don't want that. Maybe if you just sat here and I buggered off and made a tea or something, that might be all right. We're going to try and make these videos a bit shorter, a bit more bite-sized. So look out for episode 12 towards the end of the international break, where we're going to talk about the upcoming game week, so game week 8. And I can already see some pretty good fixtures there. Liverpool United looks good. Watford Arsenal actually doesn't look too bad. Poor old Palace against Chelsea. Goodness me. Oh, wow.
When will it end for Palace?
Yeah, indeed.
Someone put them out of their misery.
Indeed. West Ham against Burnley away. Another game that Bilic has got to win. All right, so some interesting ties coming up in game week 8, which we'll talk about in episode 12 towards the end of the international break. As ever, thank you for following us. Thank you for coming on to at FPL Family on Twitter, at FPL Family on Instagram. And this time last vlog, we went, what about the league? Has the league updated? Is it worth talking about who's at the top? It's caught to 10 now, isn't it? So it should be updated. Let's have a look. Who's at the top? Even if it's not updated, tell us who's at the top.
Hang on.
So just while Sam's figuring that out, thank you guys for your support. Hit that subscribe button at FPL Family on Twitter. Like it. Go on then. Boys United by 1. Deshwell Grunewald with 64 points this week, so not a bad game week. Ben Davies,
triple captain Lukaku.
Happy days. Triple captain Lukaku. All right, 64 points. He's top.
Our
friend Matt Vale again. Wacky Races coming back into the game. 74. Nice score, Matt.
Just gonna have a little look down and see. We've got somebody on 92 then.
92. Let's have a look at that team.
Medina FC
in 9th at the moment. 92 points
Davis,
this game week.
Kane,
Lukaku,
Monreal,
Kolasinac, Jones.
Hosselu,
nice.
I'm just seeing if anybody beat them in terms of the league total this week.
Anybody topping 100?
I'm just
any 3-figure holes. There's a 99 there. Oh, it's 92. Sorry, 92.
I'm just having a little look in case anybody topped 100 in the league, because that would be really impressive.
Let's assume not. If you've scrolled down that far, we're down on 89th place. We haven't got anybody. Cool. All right, guys. So well done to those guys. If you want to join the league, the FPL code should be
on the screen.
On the screen in the bottom right hand corner. So feel free to join the league. Started game week 1. So as long as you've got a game week 1 team, you should be good to join. I think that's it. We'll wrap it up, shall we?
Yeah.
So thanks for the support. Keep subscribing, keep following us at FPL Family on Twitter, at FPL Family on Instagram. Leave your comments below. We are going to change these videos up 2 times 20-minute videos rather than one 53-minute video, as it now is. And we will see you towards the end of the international break. Thank you, guys. Speak to you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.